Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Soul Land 3 Legend of the Dragon King Part 62 based on novel. So let's start. Dark shadows pervaded the forest as the sheer density of the canopy blocked the sunlight, and the earthy sense of plant life saturated the damp air. This place already seemed to resemble the intermediate level. Only Tang Wulin had set foot there before, and it had been an unforgettable experience in which he first bore witness to Wu Zhangkong's overwhelming power. 1,000-year and 10,000-year soul beasts had fallen one after the other before him, dropping like flies. Stay alert, everyone. The foliage limits my wind bird's vision, Gu warned in a low voice. Tang Wulin slowed his pace. It was unwise to rush forward in this environment. Captain, do you think we can cross into the intermediate level if we venture deep enough? Xu Xiaoyan asked. Tang Wulin shook his head. I don't know. Teacher Wu never spoke about it. It's possible, Gu interjected. Really? Tang Wulin turned to her. Gu nodded. Every level of the Spirit Ascension platform is connected. It's possible to enter the intermediate level from here as long as you're strong enough. However, a powerful soul beast guards the barrier between levels. Only after defeating it can we cross over. Unfortunately, I think this will be difficult for us, much less ordinary soul masters. The Guardian is the reason why very few people can cross between levels. As a member of the Spirit Pagoda, Gu had access to information unknown to outsiders. Excitement bubbled within Xie Xie. Let's give a try then. Maybe we can enter the intermediate level this time. A wry smile appeared on Tang Wulin's lips. I don't think it'll be that easy. He could still recall how terrifying the soul beasts in the intermediate level were. The blazing demon Lion King was nothing when compared to any random beast from that level. Aside from that, the Spirit Pagoda would have definitely installed preventative measures to keep people from crossing the borders between levels. Tang Wulin and the others would face great resistance if they tried to do so. Let's try. For once, Gu agreed with Xie Xie. As of late, soul beasts rarely appeared before them. This lack of beasts, as well as the silence that came with it, only served to magnify the gloom of the forest. An eerie calm descended on this thriving forest. Tang Wulin knew from experience that they had entered the domain of a powerful soul beast, and since not a single sound could be heard, it was probably far more powerful than the blazing demon Lion King. There was only one other situation they had encountered these circumstances before. Xie Xie, do you remember the first time we came to the Rebellion Spirit Ascension platform? Tang Wulin quietly asked. Of course. Xie Xie said. Our luck was pretty good that time and we were able to absorb a bunch of energy thanks to the man-faced demon spider. That was also the first time you evolved your spirit soul. In that case, do you remember how you were killed? Tang Wulin asked. A cold shiver ran down Xie Xie's spine. He understood where Tang Wulin's thoughts were traveling to. His voice trembled as he spoke. Are you saying that this place is? Tang Wulin forced out a bitter laugh. I'm getting a similar vibe. Hopefully, I'm wrong. Xie Xie subconsciously drew closer to Tang Wulin, fear surfacing in his eyes. He could never forget the chilling sensation of being chopped to pieces during their first adventure in the Rebellion Spirit Ascension platform. He had been plagued with nightmares and dread for an entire month after that. They hadn't come across that particular soul beast in the past few years, but the terrifying memory still hadn't left Xie Xie. Are you saying? Gu's voice trailed off. Her expression became grim when Tang Wulin nodded. Dusk seemed to gather in their surroundings and an unseen pressure weighed down on them. Xie Xie's palms were sweaty and his breathing became haggard. How about we take another route? Xie Xie asked meekly. Tang Wulin's voice was stern. There are some things that we can't run from. If you don't gather the courage to face the beast, then it will haunt you forever. Only by prevailing over it will you be able to advance further and become even more powerful. Xie Xie made a bitter face. That's easy to say, but Tang Wulin suddenly threw out his arms to stop everyone in their tracks. His eyes narrowed as he tried to make out what lay beyond the trees in front of them. Tang Wulin's connection to plants due to his blue-silver grass meant that his perception was the keenest in the forest amongst his group, and he could sense what others could not. For example, he could sense the fear of the surrounding plants. "Come out," he growled. As if working in tandem with Tang Wulin, Gu summoned a fireball and tossed it in the direction of his gaze. The fireball surged into the depths of the forest, exploding midair when a blur of motion attacked it. A majestic figure emerged from the shadows, and Xie sucked in a deep breath. Fear gripped his body, his daggers trembling in his hands. Over 3 meters in height, the figure towered over them. Dark gold fur covered its body, and it had a pair of indifferent and ruthless eyes. Most alarming of all, however, were its gigantic arms. They were thick and solid, each sporting meter-long claws that were dark gold. Faint hissing sounds could be heard whenever it slashed at the air. Tang Wulin's pupils contracted. The dusk gold dreadclaw bear. If they were to choose a single soul beast that they absolutely didn't want to encounter, it would be the dusk gold dreadclaw bear. Tang Wulin had witnessed an entire pride of blazing demon lions prostrate themselves before it like kittens during their first encounter. It was also the first time his golden dragon claw had been defeated. That memory had been carved into both his and Xie's hearts. In the past 3 years, they had yet to encounter it again. As a result, they had nearly forgotten about it, until today. Be it offense, defense, or speed, the dusk gold dreadclaw bear excelled in everything. Its explosive power dominated both close quarters and long-range combat. Even among other peak-level soul beasts, it stood a step above them. It was a frightening soul beast that could even contend with dragons. Crimson bloodthirst seeped into the dusk gold dreadclaw bear's cold eyes as it stared at them. It advanced toward them step by step, its body starting to faintly glow. "I'm the vanguard," Tang Wulin said. "You guys assist me. If I'm defeated, exit immediately." Tang Wulin strode forward as he spoke, his head held high. He started slow, but gradually he began to run, then he was soon charging forward courageously. Shame settled into Xie's heart as he stared at Tang Wulin's valiant figure. Every time danger rears its head, is the one charging in. No. This time won't be the same. Xie dashed to the side, suddenly moving at a high speed. An ice wheel arced through the air toward the bear while simultaneously, the elements in the air grew increasingly frenzied and started to gather together. At long last, Class 0 came to face its greatest opponent yet. Tang Wulin continued to close the distance between him and the dusk gold dreadclaw bear, yet the soul beast came to an abrupt halt. The ice wheel struck the bear's head, but it didn't even blink as icy air descended upon its body and covered it in a layer of frost. With a booming roar, the bear brandished its claws to swipe at Tang Wulin. The ice wheel's restraining effect was nothing to it. Tang Wulin's right hand transformed into the golden dragon claw and he swung at the bear. He may not have been its match 3 years ago, but he was different now. A metallic crash tore through the air. Tang Wulin staggered back 7 steps before steadying himself. During his first clash with a 100-year dusk gold dreadclaw bear, he had been sent flying. He looked at his claw. It was undamaged, but he had felt a sudden spike in soul power consumption during the clash. The dusk gold dreadclaw bear stilled at the odd sensation on his claw. It lowered its head, taken aback when it saw a small nick where his and Tang Wulin's claws had clashed. It opened its mouth to release a furious roar that shook the heavens as dark gold light exploded from its body. Icicles and fireballs rained down upon it, but disintegrated the moment they entered the range of this golden light. For a dusk gold dreadclaw bear, its claw was its most prized possession. Rage coursed through its veins at the thought of its damaged claw. Xie had made his way to the side. He leapt into the air, his third soul ring lighting up as he silently launched his surprise attack. His body faded until it almost seemed illusory, and in the blink of an eye, separated into 3 clones that split up to assault the bear from different angles. Xie couldn't have timed it better. He attacked while the bear was still raging over its damaged claw. Metallic clinks resounded as Xie slashed with his 2 daggers. Yet, the dusk gold dreadclaw bear was unmoved and unharmed. It roared once more, unleashing its golden aura with renewed fury as it spun in place while sweeping out with its claws to repel the three clones. The three retreated with haste. Only one succeeded, however, the other two were chopped into pieces and dissipated from existence. Xie leaped backward. He didn't dare approach again. This bastard's defense is too strong. At that moment, a 5-meter-long deep blue spear of ice shot down from the sky straight at the bear's head. Bang! The ice spear shattered. The bear raised a paw to rub its head, not amused. Xu Xiaoyon's expression paled with horror. Her second soul skill, Ice Spear, was her strongest attack. It had taken her brother his third soul ring to gain this skill that boasted formidable single-target firepower, yet the Dusk Gold Dreadclaw Bear had simply shrugged it off. She could only imagine how tough its body was. "Buy me some time," Gu shouted. Her two hands flew around in a series of wild gestures, gathering elements to her. Unexpectedly, all three of her soul rings were brightening. Her first soul skill was Elemental Tide, her second Elemental Control, and her 1,000-year third soul skill was called Elemental Fusion. She bathed in the rainbow-colored light that her three powerful elemental support-type skills released, her countenance akin to a fairy. The Dusk Gold Dreadclaw Bear chose to act at this moment. Rather than pursuing Xie or attack Xu Xiaoyon, it charged at Tang Wulin with the force of a small mountain. Every one of its claws, now over 5 meters long, aimed for Tang Wulin's head. It resented Tang Wulin for nicking its claws and wanted revenge. In a flash of blue light, Tang Wulin soared into the air, blue-silver impaling array activating below. The Dusk Gold Dreadclaw Bear stumbled in the face of such stalagmite-like grass but still managed to slash the escaping Tang Wulin. Clearly, it was not affected by the blue-silver impaling array's high-frequency vibrations. In reality, the blue-silver grass hadn't even been able to penetrate the soles of its feet. Tang Wulin pulled on another vine of blue-silver grass, changing directions mid-air and evading its second attack. His eyes sparkled at this challenge. Even if it was a stronger Dusk Gold Dreadclaw Bear, today, he wanted to face it head-to-head. He twisted around to give Gu a look. An instant later, a disc of ice appeared beneath him. Exerting strength through his legs, he changed directions mid-air once more. Instead of opening up the distance between them, he shot right at it. The Dusk Gold Dreadclaw Bear was determined to meet him head-on and charged straight at him. A golden spike appeared behind it in a halo of golden light and slammed into the bear's back, throwing it into the air and momentarily stunning it. Although the spike's attack didn't faze the bear, it was tougher than the blue-silver impaling array and broke the bear's momentum. Tang Wulin swooped in right then, and their two figures overlapped in a flash. Although the Dusk Gold Dreadclaw Bear lost control of its body, it didn't care. The golden spike did not inflict any damage, but its intense vibrations gave the bear a concussion and affected its speed. It was at this moment that Tang Wulin descended on its head. The bear waved its arms in an attempt to slash Tang Wulin to death, but due to the intense vibrations of the golden blue-silver grass, its attacking speed was slower and its power weaker. Tang Wulin met the claw with his own once again, a metallic screech ripping through the air as they collided. Tang Wulin held his ground this time. Aided by both gravity and the effect of his golden grass, they were evenly matched and both of their arms recoiled backward from the clash. By then, Tang Wulin had landed on its shoulder. Raising his foot, he kicked the bear's neck. It felt as if he was kicking a wall of steel. If not for the fact that his body was far stronger than usual, then his foot would have snapped off. The bear's head went askew after being kicked and, taking advantage of this, a vine quickly ran up and wound itself around its neck. Tang Wulin grabbed the other end of the vine and turned his body to kick off the bear's back with all his strength. His muscles rippled with power as he heaved the vine. Tang Wulin strangled the bear with the vine in midair, causing its attack to fly off mark. Its body, flipped around by Tang Wulin, headed towards the ground. Tang Wulin grabbed the bear. His muscles worked furiously, using all its strength to bend over backwards and flip them both upside down. It would have been impossible for Tang Wulin to make such a daring move if they were on the ground, as the bear weighing over 5,000 kilograms. He would have been stopped dead in his tracks. However, they were in midair and the bear was caught off guard, giving Tang Wulin the chance to execute such a shocking attack. Boom! The bear smashed into the ground. Debris exploded outward. The dust settled a moment later, revealing a shocking scene. The bear laid on its stomach, Tang Wulin kneeled on its back. This was possible? Xie was dumbstruck. That's a dusk gold dreadclaw bear. Yet, Tang Wulin threw it down just like that? A chilling light gleamed in Tang Wulin's eyes as he grabbed the bear's neck with his claws. The neck was the weakest point of its body, and Tang Wulin had confidence in his claw's strength. At that moment, however, the dusk gold dreadclaw bear's body glowed with a golden light again. Tang Wulin's claws penetrated the light, but the force behind his strike weakened significantly. Though his golden dragon claw could resist the strength of this light, the rest of his body could not. Before he could slice open the bear's neck, the light blasted him away. Even so, he still managed to tear a small chunk of flesh off the bear's neck before being sent flying. Crimson blood dotted with specks of gold bubbled out of the wound. The bear bellowed in pain and bolted off of the ground. It had been many years since it had last been injured and hadn't expected that today, an insignificant human would dare to wound it. In the end though, its defense was formidable. Even if Tang Wulin could grab it with his claw, there was a chance that the crushing effect would be useless. Not giving Tang Wulin a chance to regroup, the bear brandished its claws and attacked him. Tang Wulin, still in midair, was helpless to evade. His death seemed imminent. Xu Xiaoyuan's ice will would not make it in time, while Ji Yu was still submerged in the light, preparing her own attack. Tang Wulin tried to summon his blue-silver grass, only to discover that the dark gold light had disrupted his internal soul power and left it too frenzied to control. I'm done for. Tang Wulin wore a bitter smile as he bravely faced his impending doom. Yet at that moment, a figure jumped in front of the bear's attack. The figure was instantly torn to shreds, and the protective layer of soul power on his body completely scattered. However, he did manage to save Tang Wulin from this fatal strike. Xie! Tang Wulin cried out. Although no one could truly die in the Spirit Ascension platform and they were used to the terrifying sensation of death by now, being ripped apart was still an unbearable torture. Xie would suffer terribly from the after effects. As Xie drew his last breath, Tang Wulin could see the determination in his eyes. It was as if Xie was telling him, "Avenge me." Tang Wulin managed to break free of the dusk gold dreadclaw bear's influence by using the mysterious heaven method and rolled away from its claw swipes. Despite his red eyes and emotional torment, Tang Wulin continued to dodge while sending vine after vine of blue-silver grass after the bear. The dusk gold dreadclaw bear was overcome with bloodlust after being wounded and completely ignored Xu Xiaoyuan and Ji Yu in favor of pursuing Tang Wulin. Though Tang Wulin's clothes were already in tatters and exhaustion weighed him down like shackles, his eyes shined with resolution. Xie, I will avenge you. With Xu Xiaoyuan occasionally shooting ice spears at the bear as artillery support and taking advantage of the terrain, Tang Wulin successfully evaded all of the bear's attacks by a hair's width. Wulin! Tang Wulin's eyes lit up when he heard this lovely voice. The blue-silver impaling array appeared once more. This time though, instead of targeting the dusk gold dreadclaw bear, it was aimed at Tang Wulin himself. The spikes boosted him up into the air, neatly avoiding the bear's attack. At that same instant, four brilliant rays of blue, red, yellow and green light surrounded the bear. They spun around it before transforming into mystical four-colored chains that bound it in place. The bear howled in rage as it sensed this. Dark gold light surged out of its body, only to be routed by the elemental chains that prevented it from breaking free. This elemental lock could barely hold the bear for a second. Blood seeped from the corner of Ji Yu's mouth as she struggled to maintain it. Tang Wulin dropped from the sky headfirst in a golden blur, his claws in front of him to slice the bear's head. Ding! Though his claws managed to penetrate the fur, the bear's incomparably hard skull blocked his attack. Tang Wulin was stunned. Don't tell me even my dragon claw can't kill it? The bear snarled as it struggled free from the chains. They shattered into thousands of multicolored lights that twinkled like the starry sky. Blood gushed out of Ji Yu's mouth and she collapsed in Xu Xiaoyuan's arms. Die already! Tang Wulin, eyes bloodshot and growling, channeled all his strength into his claws. His claws trembled. Then sharp cracking sounds could be heard. A moment later, the raised arms of the dusk gold dreadclaw bear went limp. Tang Wulin slumped down, his claws no longer latched onto the bear's skull. His claws' crushing effect had activated at the most crucial moment. The bear's ruthless pair of eyes lost their spark of life as its body slowly fell over. Strangely, its body did not transform into spirit energy like other soul beasts but into a dark gold light that gradually took form. Tang Wulin disregarded this strange phenomenon. He leapt off the bear before it collapsed and dashed over to Gu and Xu Xiaoyon's side. Gu, you okay? His voice was tinged with anxiety. Gu's eyes were shut tight and her complexion pale, but a faint smile could be seen on her lips. Seeing this smile, Tang Wulin let out a breath of relief. Everything would be fine as long as she was still alive. Let's go back now. We need to check on Xie Xie. The thought of Xie Xie made him anxious. Xie Xie sacrificed himself for me. Just as he was about to slap the button on the back of his hand, Xu Xiaoyan tugged on his arm. Captain, what is that? She pointed in the direction the dusk gold dreadclaw bear. Tang Wulin's gaze followed her finger, thinking something had happened with the dusk gold dreadclaw bear. Its body had indeed disappeared into particles of dark gold light, but in its place was a twinkling dark gold light. This is... He stood up and quickly made his way over. He was stunned by what he saw on the ground. It was something he had never seen before. It resembled the bones of a human hand, but the dark gold cloud pattern seemed to suggest it was forged from some alloy. Even more confusing was that this item was clearly not metal and felt like a living thing. Tang Wulin stooped down to pick it up. Wow! This bone is heavy. He returned to the other two. What is this? Do you know? Tang Wulin asked Xu Xiaoyan. Xu Xiaoyan was also at a loss as she examined the dark gold bone. I don't know either. I've never seen anything like it. It's a soul bone, Gu feebly said. She had regained consciousness some time ago and had already opened her eyes. A soul bone. Tang Wulin and Xu Xiaoyan trembled at the words. Of course they knew what a soul bone was. It was one of the rarest items in the world of soul masters. Soul bones and soul rings had their similarities and differences. Soul rings were tied to one's cultivation, and once one reached the limit, they would need another soul ring to continue cultivating. Soul bones, on the other hand, were not essential to soul masters and wouldn't affect one's cultivation. Since ancient times, however, soul bones were the symbol of a powerful soul master, as soul bones improved the soul master's body while also granting a soul skill related to it. The bone in Tang Wulin's grip was clearly for the right hand. If it truly was a soul bone, then fusing with it would greatly boost the power of one's right hand and grant a soul skill related to one's right hand. This is a soul bone? Why did a soul bone appear? This is the Spirit Ascension platform. Isn't this an illusory world? Tang Wulin asked in confusion. This soul bone was like spirit energy, it had form. So just why then did it appear in the Spirit Ascension platform? Gu shook her head in a gentle manner. No. As far as I know, the Spirit Ascension platform isn't a true illusory world. It's actually a mix of illusions and reality. The elementary level is the least authentic, but that's not to say it's entirely fake. If not, how could we absorb spirit energy? Since a soul bone appeared, that means the beast we just killed was a Spirit Ascension platform guardian. Spirit Ascension platform guardian? What do you mean? Tang Wulin asked. Clearly, Gu was privy to many details unknown by outsiders. Gu said, whether it is the elementary, intermediate, or advanced level, each possesses a guardian. The Spirit Ascension platform is actually one entity split into 3 sections with different entrances. To separate the levels and to prevent soul masters from crossing over to another section, the Spirit Pagoda designates a guardian per level. Only an extremely formidable soul beast can be given such a title. In theory, no one with less than 5 rings should be able to kill the dusk gold dreadclaw bear. They never expected it to die by our hands. Also, because the Guardians are more powerful than normal beasts, they require much more energy as well as a soul bone to create. Basically, the true reward for killing it is its soul bone. You can't bring it outside of the Spirit Ascension platform, so you better fuse with the soul bone here. There's no other way to keep it with you. Tang Wulin was dumbstruck. But I didn't kill it alone. We brought it down together. Anyone can fuse with it, not just me. Gu rolled her eyes. Just what are you thinking in that head of yours? Do you think my body is strong enough? Do you think fusing with the soul bone of a dusk gold dreadclaw bear is a walk in the park? None of us are compatible with it, so even if we tried, we'd be devoured. Maybe even killed. Then the soul bone would be wasted. You're the only one who can absorb it, and furthermore, there's a chance it'll complement your golden dragon claw. Now chop chop. We don't have all day. But like you said, I already have my golden dragon claw. Wouldn't it be a waste to add on the dusk gold dreadclaw? Hesitation still gripped him, the uneasy and indecisive thoughts running circles in his mind. Gu frowned. Of course not. In fact, it'll strengthen your dragon claw even more. The dusk gold dreadclaw bear's strongest part is its right claw. What's more amazing is that its core is the right claw soul bone. What we have here should be an external soul bone and not one of the normal 6. Typically, soul masters could fuse with up to 6 soul bones, the skull, the torso, and the 4 limb bones. However, there were some peculiar or variant soul bones outside of the typical 6. These were the external soul bones, and they were far more precious. Captain, you should just go for it. If it wasn't for you, we never would have been able to penetrate the dusk gold dreadclaw bear's defenses. Your attack power is crucial to our team. Xu Xiaoyan urged him on. Relative to her teammates, Xu Xiaoyan's body was the weakest. Coupled with the nature of her abilities, she was the least compatible with the soul bone. Were Xie still alive, he would have declined modestly as well. Tang Wulin nodded. He sat down cross-legged and gripped the bone in his hand. The process of fusing with a soul bone was identical to that of fusing with a spirit soul. He needed to draw it into himself with his soul power. As he activated the mysterious heaven method, his soul power surged into the precious item within his hands, emanating a dim glow. A black radiance emerged from the bone, blending with golden specks of light. At first, the soul bone levitated above his palm. Yet as the seconds ticked by, white luminescence drew it into his outstretched hand. The bone grew increasingly transparent, losing its dark hues, as if it was carved from golden crystal. Eventually, the light show came to an end, and the soul bone's morphological traits transformed. Scales appeared across Tang Wulin's arms, rippling through his muscles and adding a golden tint throughout the white soul power. The soul bone trembled like it was sentient, as if refusing by its own volition to merge with this unfamiliar body. To combat this, Tang Wulin shot ethereal strands of gold out of his palm, which latched onto the soul bone. The soul bone stopped trembling at once and merged into his hand. Now the scales on his arm glowed with a dark gold luster. The radiance flowed back and forth like a tidal wave, splashes of gold and dark gold interweaving together. Tang Wulin's breathing came intermittently, rough at one moment and tranquil at another, the energy continuing to transform with no bounds. Then, everything became still. No longer did his scales gleam a dark gold. They reverted back to a dull golden hue, as if the previous color had never existed in the first place. For that reason, Gu and Xu Xiaoyan could not discern any changes in his right hand. It did not seem stronger at all. It's done. Xu Xiaoyan asked Gu, skepticism clouding her eyes. Gu was also at a loss. I don't know. It seems so. But I don't really see a difference. At those words, Tang Wulin opened his eyes slowly, revealing a similar trace of doubt. He had been hit with the same impression as his teammates while he fused with the soul bone. In the beginning, he felt the spiraling wild energy within, though it was suppressed by his bloodline instantly. He had thought that it would be as painful as breaking a seal. Never in his dreams did he expect it to be so easy. This feeling did not sit well with him, it reeked of unaltered circumstances. Perhaps his golden dragon claw didn't improve as much as he had hoped. Tang Wulin sprang up like a spring, glaring at his right hand with a frown tugging at his lips. My hand and blood feel a bit stronger, but just by a tiny amount. It's nowhere near what should have happened by fusing with a soul bone. How about you test it out? Seeing the doubt written on his face, Gu inquired as she took his side. Tang Wulin responded by nodding. He rolled his hand into a fist, knuckles glowing white as he punched the air. A sonic boom rang through the open space. Following that, his arm swelled with power as twinkling golden scales popped from his skin. He closed his eyes, recalling the sensation of that punch. My strength has increased by about 20%. Disappointment painted Gu's face. Although 20% wasn't something to scoff at, this was an external soul bone they are talking about. The only thing that beat an external soul bone in rarity was a 10,000-year soul ring. A measly 20% increase in power was simply inexcusable. Is there a soul skill? Gu asked. Tang Wulin shook his head. When a soul master merged with a soul ring, he would know right away if a new soul skill hid beneath the shadows. With practice, mastering the new soul skill would be as easy. This video will end here.